Alright guys, we're back with another deck profile. This time it is Sea Monsters. Sea Monsters is one of my absolute favorite decks. We went on a sick run this season. We went from Diamond 4 to Masters with a 17-2 win-loss ratio. Really happy with it, and we've been playing it on the Masters ladder. We got around top 100 Masters with this deck, so really happy with how it's been performing. Guys, we're going to go and do a pretty deep dive into the deck in this video. It's going to be a bit longer, so I will put timestamps to all the separate parts. Those parts are going to be, I'm going to do a little intro to start off with, just tell you about what the deck is. Then we're going to look at the deck list, go through the card explanations, and I'll tell you how they work with each other and how you can use them against your opponent. Then I want to give you guys kind of an overview of the mulligan, so you can understand how to mulligan with this deck. We'll look at the matchups, the common meta matchups, and then I'm going to do a section on milling your opponent because it can get a little bit tricky when you and your opponent are down to 2 or 3 cards each. So I'm going to put a section in there, and then I'm going to pop up a couple of gameplay videos, just some things from the stream, from my little streak, so you guys can take a look and see how the deck is piloted. So first of all, if you don't know what Sea Monsters is, it's basically a deck that revolves around the deep mechanic. What you want to try and do is make it so that your deck has 15 cards or less in it, and when that happens, you're going to be able to level up Nautilus. All these Sea Monsters are going to have +3/+3 stats, make them really big, and you're going to be able to overwhelm your opponent on the board. So generally the playstyle is you start off, you play kind of a bit slow, you're tossing your cards out of your deck, you're using some heals to survive, and then round 6 or 7 you start to go deep and you put these big sea monsters down on the board, you put Nautilus down on the board, and you end the game with either on the board or with Atrocity or something like that. So really fun deck, guys. I encourage you, if it sounds interesting, give it a go, you won't regret it. So we're going to jump into the deck list now, guys. This is my personal deck list. This is the one that I have found the most success with and the one that I like the most. I'm sure there's a lot of different versions out there and everyone has their preferences, but this is the one that we're going to be running with today. So we've got 3 copies of Drag Dredges. This guy has been nerfed since the last patch. He's down to a 1/1. You do feel the impact of it in the early game, but it's not so bad. Just a solid little 1-drop, so excellent card here. We have Jettison next. Now Jettison is a really nice burst spell. It allows us to toss 4 out of our deck. The biggest thing about this, guys, is it happens at burst speed, so we can use it to go kind of deep on our opponent at burst speed and surprise them. You don't want to be using this on turn 1, 2, 3. You want to be banking your spell mana, and you want to be using this Jettison as a surprise, as a way to outplay your opponent. So always hold on to this card, and when, if you have 2 Jettison in hand and you're 8 away from deep, you can, do that at burst speed and immediately go deep, and maybe they take a trade that they weren't really happy with because your units have just been buffed. So really powerful play to just keep this in your hand. The only time I would use it early game is if you are going to burn some mana, guys. If you're going to burn the mana, maybe just use one of these Jettisons to be really efficient with your mana. We have Thorny Toad. I've only got 2 of them in this deck because while he is amazing in the aggro matchups, he is a super good overwhelm blocker because of this 4 health and the 2 heal behind it. He can pretty much block Basilisk Rider, and it means you take essentially 0 damage because after the 4 health and the 2 heal, you've taken none. In some of the slower matchups, guys, he does feel like a bit of a dead card. He just sits on the board and the opponent doesn't kill him if they're smart enough. So really, this guy's just for the aggro matchups, but he's a really awesome 2-drop, and you can just get a lot of work done with him with his high health. We have 3 Vile Feast in here. Pretty self-explanatory. Great card. Drains 1 to summon a Spiderling. This thing is awesome against aggro. Awesome. We don't have very much removal in this deck, so every point of removal we will take it. Really nice. Really good to stop things like Vile Feast. And really good development Punisher too, guys. If like an aggro deck puts down a card, you can Vile Feast their 1 health unit, and then you have a chump blocker ready to go. So really nice. We got 3 of the Dead Bloom Wanderer. Dead Bloom is awesome. He tosses 3 when he comes down, and then if you get 2 of, or even 3 of these down on the board versus aggro, the game is just over, man. This lifesteal is absolutely amazing. So Dead Bloom, super strong card. Really like it. We have a Joel Hunters in here too. Now Joel Hunters acts as kind of like pseudo removal for this deck because we don't have much removal. We want this challenger right here. Often a play you can do with the Joel Hunters on turn 3 or turn 4, you have the Joel Hunters in hand, and instead of playing it straight away, you just want to pass, and the opponent might think that you don't have a move, or especially if they're playing like a tempo deck that wants to play on curve and play their minions, often they'll drop something like a Misfortune, like you see over here, and then you can play the Joel Hunters and just challenge it, and you get to, get a really nice trade. Anytime you're trading this into like a value creature like Misfortune, you're feeling really good. Guys, this also generates you a sea monster in hand, so you see how in the deck we're not actually running that many sea monsters, even though it is a sea monster deck. That's because we can generate them with the Joel Hunters. So really nice card, gives us card advantage and just super powerful overall. Now we are running 3 Maokai in this deck, guys. Maokai is awesome. He provides us a win condition against control. He has this effect when you play another ally, you toss 2 and you summon a sapling. And these saplings are ephemeral and they have challenger, guys. So it can sometimes be a little tricky to actually proc Maokai in this deck because we don't have a lot of low cost minions. So often it is good to, save a Drake Dredges as a little Maokai activator. And you can pop him down and get that sapling. Guys, Maokai is going to level up anytime your units die or anytime you toss a card. So you need to get to 25 in total. So, that works with things like the Ephemeral. That counts as 1. And, all these little minions, when they're dying, it adds up to Maokai's level up condition. So you have to be constantly aware of this and as you're trying to reach it. So make sure you keep an eye on that. And don't forget that, it counts with the units dying as well as tossing cards. So you can take that into consideration. Guys, when Maokai levels up, he obliterates the enemy deck, leaving 4 non-champions. Not only does this thing have a sick animation, but it fully obliterates the enemy's deck, and it leaves them with 4 non-champions left in their deck. Now that's very critical, because since he's leaving 4 non-champions left in the deck, often if they have a champion on board already, their champion ability they're not going to be able to get another copy of their champion and use that spell card and then shuffle another thing back in their deck. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to talk about it more in the mill section, but this is really important here that he's leaving non-champions left in the deck. And then the start of every round he's going to summon a sapling, guys. So really awesome. This sapling actually works super well with our fearsome units like Nautilus and the Plateworm eggs that I'm going to talk about later on. So the challenger can actually drag, something that could block maybe Nautilus, and then Nautilus can swing into the Nexus for a lot of damage. Guys, Maokai's spell card 2 is Sap Magic, so you can toss 3 and you heal allies 3. This doesn't include your Nexus, but I'll talk more about this in the mill section as well. The important thing is this happens at burst, but you can just use it during the game normally to toss 3 if the opportunity arises. Guys, I'm running 2 Riptide in this deck. I know this will be a little bit controversial, but I really like it. It's 4 mana, stun an enemy, and if you have a Nautilus on board, you get to shove them back into the enemy's deck. So this card, on turn 4 or 5, or even 6 sometimes, really strong on Basilisk Rider, really strong on Darius even. And the great thing about stunning Darius or Basilisk Rider is you don't actually put it back into the pool for the harrowing. So it's actually really strong to keep them CC'd, keep them back on the board, and then maybe you can develop your own board a little bit and start to overwhelm them. So really, really nice card. Late game, guys, once you have Nautilus down on the board, this becomes like a Will of Ionia, like on steroids. You get to shove the enemy back into their deck. You can shove Anivia's back in the deck. You can shove Ezreal's back in the deck. It's just a really strong card and super fun to use too. We have Salvage here, guys. Salvage, 4 mana, burst, toss 2, draw 2. So this is going to send us 4 deeper into our deck. We want to hit that 15 cards left mark. It doesn't matter if we toss or draw, we just need 15 cards left. So Salvage is going to help us do that. We run a full set of them. This is just super amazing card in our control matchups. And we don't have actually a lot of card draw in here, so this is super necessary as a 3-of. Guys, we've got 2 Abyssal Eyes in here. Abyssal Eye, really nice as a kind of elusive blocker, and then once he's deep, he can pack a punch by hitting the Nexus and really chip your opponent down. He does have this Nexus strike draw 1, which is amazing in the mid game. Guys, if you get down to maybe 4, 3, 2 cards left, you got to be really careful about attacking with this guy because you will deck yourself out. So always be aware that as soon as he hits a Nexus, he is going to draw you a card. So a little bit careful with this one, but overall, amazing unit. We got 2 grasp in here, a little bit of healing, a little bit of removal. This is the only real solid removal we have in this deck. You know, we have Wild Feast, we have the Whales, and we have Jaw Hunters, which is kind of a little bit of removal. So this is going to be our card that we keep when we know the enemy has something we can't leave up on the board, something like Twisted Fate we can get rid of. And the heal comes in really clutch too. Guys, if you're up against an aggro deck in Noxus, versus Noxus in particular, don't use this while the enemy has at least 3 mana up. He's just going to Noxian Fervor his unit. So you want to try and use this when the enemy is tapped out of banner, or if he has a really low hand size and you think that there's a very low chance of him having Noxian Fervor in his hand, then you can go ahead and use this. But be careful because this can be interrupted. It happens at fast speed. We got Withering Wail in here. Deal 1 to all enemies, bit of AoE damage, just does 1 damage, and it also heals your Nexus 3, so nice little tool to stall out the game a bit longer till we go deep and reach our sea monsters. We got Atrocity in here, guys. Atrocity, you can kill an ally to deal damage equal to its power to anything, so we can use this on Nautilus, on the enemy's Nexus. Once he's leveled up, that's 13 damage straight to their Nexus. Kind of another win condition here built into the deck. You can also end up using the Atrocity on something like the Shipwreck Hoarder. I do that often because the Shipwreck goes up to 10, so that's 10 damage straight to the Nexus if you use it on those two. So you want to try and use this card a little bit reactively, guys. Don't be too hasty with this thing. Wait till the opponent is kind of out of moves to do it. But really nice way to end the game. We have Devourer of the Depths. So Devourer, super strong. You get access to this Obliterate keyword, which means you know, last breaths don't go off. Things don't go into the pool for the Harrowing. And just super strong card overall. It is a little bit conditional because you have to do it on enemies with less health than you, and then the opponent actually has a chance to interrupt it because this happens at fast speed. So you have to be a little bit careful with this thing, but overall, absolutely insane card. Really nice. Once you're deep, this goes up to a 7/7, guys, so you can obliterate anything with 6 or less health. Really, really nice. Then we have Nautilus, the star of the show. Nautilus is our big dude. He comes down when we are deep as a 13/13. Sea monsters cost 4 less. He's got tough and fearsome, and his spell card is the Riptide. So once again, guys, you stun an enemy, and if the Nautilus is on your board, you get to shove them back into their deck. One little thing about Nautilus, guys, when he levels up, so once you're deep and then you play Nautilus on the board, he's going to copy tossed allies that cost 4+ into your deck. So that means, say if we had like 3 cards left, you can play the Nautilus, and then he's going to, this is only the first time he played Nautilus, but he's going to copy all your tossed sea monsters back into your deck. So he might bump you up to 7 or 8 or something like that. Really important for when we're milling our opponent and getting low on cards, but I'll talk about that more in the mill section a bit. And then lastly, guys, we have the Shipwreck Hoarder. I prefer this card over the Terror of the Tides, but I think they're kind of interchangeable. It depends on the meta. This guy, when you summon him, he does toss 2, so don't forget that. And then he shuffles 2 treasures into your deck. So you get 2 out of 3 of these into your deck. Killbreaker is a really big AoE, deals 5 to all units. Plateworm Egg summons 3 of these vicious plateworms that have the fearsome tag. And once you're deep, these all turn into 8/8s. And then you can also get Treasure Trove, which is really nice. You get 5 random cards in hand. They cost 0 this turn and they're fleeting, so you get to use them all that turn. I like to use this on my attack token if possible, guys, but you can use it defensively if you feel the need. Little trick with Shipwreck Hoarder, guys, if you maybe you're like 1 or 2 away from deep and you have Shipwreck Hoarder and Jettison in your hand, make sure you shipwreck before you jettison. If you shipwreck and then go deep, then you can use the jettison and fish for some of these treasures. So, you know, try and get this guy down before you jettison if possible. Obviously, if you need to go deep and this won't get you there, then you might need to use the jettison. So that's the list, guys. Okay, guys, let's get into the matchups now. Let's go the most common one first. Noxus Allegiance. The things you're going to be looking for in the mulligan are Dreg Dredges, Grasp, Whale, Thorny Toad, Deadbloom Wanderer, Vile Feast. You want all your low cost kind of healing cards to stall out this game as long as you can. The idea of, kind of the way you want to play out this matchup is dropping your early minions, Dreg Dredges and Thorny Toad, get them down, get your Deadbloom Wanderer down, and then kind of use your spells to heal back up from the damage you're taking. And then you get to a real turning point around, I would say, turn 4, 5, or 6. Often you can either tank a Basilisk Rider with a Thorny Toad, or you can stun it to stop it from attacking. And then you can start putting some of your bigger minions down, like you can use your Devourer of the Depths to chomp up a Draven. You can even use it on something like the Legion Grenadier to prevent the last breath and also stop it from coming out in the Harrowing pool. So one little tip with this matchup, guys, don't use Grasp too early. Try and wait till he has a low chance of using Noxian further, whether that means he's out of mana or if he's got a very small hand size, then you're free to use it. But yeah, try and get your minions down the board, guys, and then use your spells to sustain. And once you hit turn 5 or 6, you can start putting down your bigger minions. Nautilus in this matchup can be pretty clutch. Even if he's not leveled up, you can pop him down on 7. He can tank a leveled up Darius hit quite nicely. And then as you move into turn 8, 9, and 10, if you're still alive, you can generally either end the game with an atrocity or you just start going deep and your minions are too big. One other little kind of super late game trick for this matchup, guys, is if you put down the Shipwreck Order, you can fish for the Keelbreaker, and the Keelbreaker hard counters a Harrowing. There's nothing in his deck that is above 5 health, so if he Harrowings, you can just use the Keelbreaker, which is one of those treasures if you didn't know what that is. So a little tip there, but overall, pretty favored matchup. You shouldn't have too much trouble. Next matchup is Anivia Braum, guys. Now, Anivia Braum, yes, it's actually a good matchup for us, but a lot of people focus on the fact that we can obliterate the Anivia and deny her egg. While that is nice, it doesn't really come into play that much because a good Anivia Braum player is playing very active. They have things like Vengeance, Grasp. They have a million different ways to interrupt your Devourer from going off. So what we really want to try and do in this matchup is find Maokai and just mill our opponent, get them down to 4 cards, toss everything, get Maokai on the board, level him up, get our opponent down to 4 cards, put them on a clock. They don't have a lot of reach anyway. And then if we can get Nautilus to stick on the board, even for, we can even do this on the turn we play him. If we do it if we have 11 mana banked, we can put Nautilus down and start shoving Anivia back in the deck with our Riptides. So try and mill him, guys. Don't focus too much on the obliterate. Try and mill him and win the game that way. So in the mulligan, we're looking for Maokai, Jettison, Salvage, and even stuff like a Dead Bloom Wanderer to help us through the early game. They're all really nice cards you want to see. Heimervai, guys. Heimervai is a terrible matchup for deep. It's actually really hard to win. Our two kind of hardest regions to match up against are Ionia and PNZ, and this deck combines those two. So if you are going to win this, guys, you pretty much have to hope they don't draw their champions and you mill them with Maokai. So we're looking for Jettison, looking for Salvage, looking for something like Grasp as well, so we can at least threaten the Monk. Or, you can, no, you're not really going to kill Heimerdinger ever with Grasp if the Heimer player is good. And you also want cards like Maokai, guys, so try to mill them, try and obliterate all their champions from their deck, and you can win that way. It's just very hard. Very similar thing for Karma Ezreal. Karma Ezreal is another very tough matchup because they can just stall out the game and they get their combo. It's that Ionia again, guys. The Will of Ionia is just super strong on Nautilus, so really hard to get a lot done versus them. The game plan is much the same. Look for Jettison, look for Salvage, look for Maokai, and look for your toss minions and try to mill them as fast as you possibly can. That's the best chance you have against these decks, guys. That will get rid of their champions, and yeah, they're tough matchups for sure. Not unwinnable, but definitely harder matchups for deep. If you're seeing a lot of Karma Ezreal and a lot of Heimervai, or just a lot of Ionia in general, I would say move away from deep, maybe find another deck to play for a little bit until the meta shifts back around. Elusive Burn, guys. Elusive Burn can be a little tricky. What we want to do is look for things like Thorny Toad, look for our Dead Bloom Wanderer, look for Grasp, and look for things like Vile Feast. We want all our healing cards to try and heal up against them. The Monk is the big scare card. I know it got nerfed just this patch, but it's still a very scary card. So we want Grasp to be able to deal with it. Basically, what we want to try and do is use things like Vile Feast to kill off the Green Glade duos, and use our kind of removal that we have to take down their elusive units. Joel Hunters can be really good for this as well. And once we're able to knock out their elusive units, and we can kind of start turning it around on them once we go deep. The Abyssal Eye can be actually pretty good in this matchup too, guys. If you can get him down, he can take out the Monk. So another tricky matchup, but if you get the tools you need to take out their elusives, it is winnable. Ezreal TF, guys, I don't think I've ever lost this matchup. It always feels super easy to me because if you get Nautilus on turn 7, you just slap him down. Even if he's not leveled up, he still has the tough keyword and he still has 13 health, so it pretty much bricks their Riptide Rex. Rex can't get anything done. Literally comes down. I think he does like 7 damage to Nautilus or something. It's pretty funny actually. So always in the Mulligan, guys, always look for Nautilus. Try keep at least one Nautilus in your opening hand. Pretty much versus any Bilgewater deck, except the mirror, I would say, yeah. And then it's really hard for him to get in range of one-shotting us with Ezreal just because of all of our healing. So you should be fine, guys. Get your early toss minions, keep that Nautilus for turn 7, and I would also consider keeping a Grasp to take out their Twisted Fate because we don't have much other removal for it. Yoink Sejuani, guys. I've been seeing a little bit of it. It's much the same game plan. You want to keep your small toss minions, keep your Dredges, keep your Thorny Toad, keep your Dead Bloom, and then also try and find a Nautilus just for Rex. So against these decks that you know run Riptide Rex, always try to keep at least one Nautilus in your opening hand. Kinko elusives. Now, Kinko elusives can be a little tricky. They do have access to Will and kind of Ionia's control tools, so it can make it a little bit harder for us. We want to look for things that are going to be good chump blockers like Drag Dredges, Vile Feast. The Joel Hunters can come in clutch to challenge some of the elusive units. Things like Whale are going to be good against the Green Glade duos, and Riptide can even be pretty strong in this matchup, guys. So, and Grasp of the Undying too. You want to keep that, so keep that in mind. And the final matchup we want to talk about is Demacia. Now, Demacia can be actually a really tough matchup. If they go super wide and then manage to get a couple of rallies off, you are pretty much dead. You really want your minions in this matchup, guys. So look for Drake Dredges, look for Thorny Toad, look for Joel Hunters. Joel Hunters is one of the best actually in this matchup. I would always keep one Joel. I would even consider keeping two Joel Hunters. In this matchup, guys. And then even stuff like Grasp as well. It can be really tricky. You have to try and stop them from going wide as quick as possible. If they curve out, it can be super hard, but it's not an unwinnable matchup. So that's kind of an overview of the main matchups. I know a lot of them sound tricky and you have to mulligan differently for every single one, but pretty much all of them, except for the Ionian ones, are definitely winnable and you can have a decent time into them. Alright guys, we're going to talk about Mill now. So milling is what Maokai does when he levels up. He's going to obliterate the enemy deck, leaving 4 non-champions. Right, so they're going to have 4 cards left. Now they might have the ability to put cards back into their deck, extending their kind of life, but our goal is to make it so once they've got 4 cards left in the deck, they only have those 4 turns and then they're going to deck themselves out of cards. So the thing you have to think about is how can the enemy put cards back in their deck? Well, the main way all your enemies are going to put cards back in their deck is with their champion spell cards. If they have a champion on the board and then they have another copy of the champion in their hand, it will turn into a spell card, which when it goes off will allow them to shuffle the champ back into their deck. I'm using Anivia for this example because it's actually happened versus Mav on stream the other day, but we're at the very late game. He had one card left in his deck and it was my turn. And I saw that he had Anivia on the board, and I knew he had Anivia's Harsh Winds in his hand. I knew he wanted to shuffle another Anivia back into his deck to buy himself another turn. And I read the card, and it says, Frostbite 2 enemies, shuffle Anivia into your deck. So I knew all I had to do was not play anything, and Mav wouldn't have anything to target, and he couldn't frostbite. He couldn't frostbite anything, and he couldn't get the Anivia back in his deck, and that's what happened, and we won the game. So you have to think about the enemy spell cards, and look at them. You can right click on their champion on their deck, and then have a look at their spell card. That's the main way they're going to be able to get cards back into their deck. Guys, when we are milling the opponent, it's quite common to be very low on cards ourselves, so we have to be checking our card counter, make sure that we're not going to be decking ourselves out before they are. We can put cards, back into our deck as well, and we have many more ways to do it than the opponent does. So one of the ways we can do it is just like them with our champion cards, so we can use like Maokai's card if Maokai's already on board, and we can do this at burst speed, which is very, very powerful. We can use Nautilus's spell card, Riptide, very powerful. But there's another way we can do it. We can actually, if we know our game plan is to mill our opponent, we can hold off playing Nautilus for a little bit, and toss and toss and toss, and we're both very low deck count. Maybe we're both on 3 cards left or something, and we still haven't played Nautilus. Well, when we level up Nautilus, when we play him and we're deep, we're going to copy tossed allies that cost 4+ back into our deck. So if we've tossed out any sea monsters, they're going to go back into our deck. So we might be able to go up to 7 or 8 or something like that. So, and our sea monsters are back in our deck, ready to draw. So that's just a little way we can put cards back into our deck during the mill game. Also have Shipwreck Hoarder, guys. Shipwreck Hoarder, when you pop him down, he is going to put 2 of these treasures in your deck. So he'll put 2 at random in your deck. So that's another little way we can extend our deck and make sure we're not decking out before the enemy. So you just have to think about all these little things. Watch your deck counter. It's actually a super fun little mini game you get to play, and yeah, it's just so much fun. Really fun way of winning the game. So I encourage you guys. Yeah, it would have been better if he just shuffled the Karma in, because then he could just keep drawing it and keep generating cards and keep shuffling. He can go infinite so easy with leveled up Karma. It's kind of troll. Not the worst hand here against Burn. Can be a really tricky matchup. Harrowing, guys, is just absolutely nutty. Just an insane card overall. We don't really have great answers to it. The fish can help, like obliterating Darius and stuff, but it's just too much sometimes. Not gonna block. Just gonna pass and see what he does here. It's Draven. No, my other dead blooms. So we don't have a good answer for Draven, guys. We don't have a good answer at all. We have a Riptide for Basilisk Rider. Where is he? Is this the Minotaur Reckoner? Draven comes down. Just gonna chump block him. So no Basilisk Rider. Would have you played Maybe he would have. But no transfusion either. Would have done it. Got a good trade on this. So he's got a couple of axes. Maybe he does have a harrowing, Darius. Yeah. Oh my god. Do we salvage? We don't get to put a minion down if we salvage here. Really like the card draw though. So we'll pop the eye down, see if we can draw a card with it.
I have my orders.
I doubt he'll deny this. Oh man, we pull a Valface too. See if we can force a defensive transfusion. He could also just fervor this into my face. Okay, he's fervoring the body off the board. Fine. So I think Darius is coming down here. Yeah.
Party's over. War is no game, brother.
He's got mana for transfusion, but we don't think he had it. Can we obliterate the Darius this turn? Oh, we have to ape 8. We let him attack in, block the Draven, take the hit from that. Oh man, I think we have to kill Draven. We have to try and kill him. How do we draw hunters? Maybe draw hunters.
Just by my hand. Reel him in.
I really want to obliterate Darius before the harrowing. A Riptide stuns Darius. Draven, another axe. Can go. Yeah, we can go deep next turn. And one play we could do is Shipwreck Order and then toss everything and look for Cure Breaker so we can answer the harrowing. But that only gets us Shipwreck and then he can play a bunch of minions. Oh man. Still 7 from deep. Give me a card. Atrocity. He wants to pass. How many harrowings does he have in here? But I'm not gonna live if I don't. I have to try this. Region. So the outcomes are harrowing here.
Let
Okay.
me show you what I can do.
Go wide. I really want this guy down. Oh, this locks us out of so much though.
Carve a path.
There's not gonna be. Oh, we got Killbreaker. So even transfusion and all the axes.
Is that all?
You have a second one? Okay. Gets us down to 13. So we do have Nautilus. Lateworm egg, Nautilus. Yeah, 13. I was gonna pop this down, the atrocity now. We're chilling. Just gotta put down a fearsome blocker or cast a harrowing right now. Easy game. Defensive harrowing. You know he has a second one in his hand. Oop. Defensive harrowing, yeah. Monkey face. Spotted. Okay, another Noxus deck. Another Noxus deck dealt with. Easy games. Yeah, Deep is performing very well for us. Everyone I talk to keeps saying it's trash, but feels fine to me. From Swain. I'm the Layden. Thanks for following, man. Appreciate it. Braum Swain. I don't go too quick. They do have a bit of burn. I like the Jettison, I like the Salvage. I think I like all this. Is Farfeast even good against them though? Do they have any 1 health units? Probably not. Wait, what do they have? Poros, Braum, Arachnoid Sentry. Then they got Fervors, Crimson Disciple, Imperial Demolitionist, Leviathans. Seems kind of trash, right? 90% win rate seems good. Yeah. So the main thing with this matchup, guys, is keeping some fearsome blockers on the board, not letting Swain get hits in. If we let Swain and Leviathan get on the board at the same time, it's very bad news. So we can either win by getting our big Nautilus down, and normally you can atrocity them. Oh my god, we're gonna go deep really quick.
Remember the objectives.
Okay. Or we can deck him out if we get a nice early Maokai. Not threatening too much. Just gonna salvage here.
Strike at their foundations.
Stop this 2 damage going off here. Very happy that wasn't a Crimson Disciple, so we got Nodless already. This is Braum turn. Man, we are tossing cards like crazy. We're 7 away already.
Eyes blazing bright as stars.
Down comes the Babbling Bjerg. Man, we can go deep this turn if we wanted. Turn 4. Holy moly. Ah, we're chilling. So he's drawn a unit that costs +5, so it's either Leviathan or Swain. Holy. Yeah, just.
By my hand, Noxus.
So he does have the Swain. This is why we want to preserve
Victory,
this.
Grand General.
Fearsome blocker here. Wouldn't mind just getting a chump blocker this turn. As well.
Venge or perish.
What do we got? We got so much so much mana. Okay. 10-5 deep. Not bad. Not bad at all. Like, how close can we can level up Maokai now? No. Wait. We're 1 mana off leveling up Maokai. Because we got 4 from Jettison, another 4, and then if a unit dies, it's very close. So if we put this down, he can respond with like Noxian Fervor, Ravenous Flock. We'll put him on it. Ooh. Okay. We'll go for the Vile Feast, make him have another answer here. Because this procs when the enemy's health is lower than this guy's? Yeah. Boom. Very nice.
A chill in the air.
Ice Veil? Yeah, whatever. Culling Strike, eh? He's running out of cards.
Out there!
So the question here is, guys, do we drop Nodless and start pressuring? Or do we drop Maokai and just mill him? We don't really have any sea monsters in our hand. The Maokai line of play might be better. We get to level Maokai up. Maybe the attack token next turn so we can drop Nautilus anyway.
I will tend this garden.
I like it just a little better.
Oh, I can't wait.
Disciple. And we're gonna toss 8 though. What's it gonna put us down to? 4. Then we can toss sea monsters back into our deck. Okay. I like the Maokai too. Puts him on an unavoidable clock. Even though we go down to 4 cards, we get to just pop him straight back in our deck. He could have another Culling Strike here to deny the saplings. He's got a Swain.
Noxus rise.
Lead us to victory, Grand General.
We're gonna pop Naught down. Gets a little scary if he has Leviathan. So he's got the Leviathan. I'm gonna drag this guy here with the Challenger, and then he has to use to either block with one of these. Oh well, he's not going to. The Swain's not leveled up yet, so he doesn't get the stuns off on his dudes. Okay, GG.
Triumphs for once.
Man, this is just... Yeah, Atrocity on Nautilus. I can't believe people were playing this deck. Like when Sea Monsters first came out, no one was playing Atrocity in it. And then I think Panda posted on Reddit and he was like, guys, I will show you the light. Yeah, must have in the deck. Ephemerals. Can be a tough matchup, they can overwhelm the board. They also have access to Ionia's tools like Will. So, it gets a little scary for us. We also don't really have great answers to Ekaram. And we're not going super wide with our boards, we're going really tall, so we'll see how we go. If he has the... What's it called? The guy on the boat? Like an unaware fisherman, but that's not right. Oblivious Islander, that's it. Scaled Snapper. Bro, you put it down as a... 5-2? Don't have any good pings here. Don't have wild face or anything, so I'm just gonna trade straight up. Double jettison, nice, and we have salvage, so that's a total of 12 toss cards. That'll send us deep. So we could go deep this turn if we wanted, but we don't really have anything that benefits off it. I'm just gonna pass, see if we can bait a minion out here. Drop the Jaw Hunters and challenge it. Vile face? Not really what we want to see. Just gonna jettison and pass. So we get another action because we cast the burst spell. If he wants to play something, he'll... Yeah. Then we put the Jaw Hunters down. Still have our attack. See if he has a Vile Feast. He's already used one. Damn, he got it. It happens. No idea you can get extra turn by playing burst spells. Yeah, you can play a burst spell and then pass, and then if he passes, you get another action again. So it's just like a little sneaky way to like sometimes bait out people's actions. Like you can see there, he dropped the snapper, and if he didn't have the Vile Feast, it would have been super good for us. Against better players, it doesn't work because they kind of know about it and they'll just pass back to you. Man, do I need to kill this here? I feel like I can take it. Be fun. Toad and the Maokai. I'm not too worried about taking that damage there because I had this guy lifesteal and I have a grasp. It's going to top me back up nicely. If I played the grasp that turn, I wouldn't be able to get this minion down or go deep. Man, these scaled snappers. I like Maokai here because we can play the Toad and also get a challenger to challenge one of these dudes. Now he could just will it. Damn, down comes Hacker, man. Mulligans has another Vile Feast. So we could challenge Hacker this turn and then grasp him next turn. It's probably still gonna get the attack off. Do I like this attack if Hacker goes down to... Not really, I don't particularly like it. Oh, this turn's gonna hurt. Hard dealing with these wide boards. My god, we're going down to... We're down to 6? Could just have deny for this. Or twin disciples. And if this goes off, we stay at 14. So he wants to get rid of Maokai. Okay. Fine. A little scary. What was that spell? What do you consider using there? Fading memories, perhaps? No. So Maokai and Dead Bloom mills his deck. It also goes wide. Also levels up Maokai for another... Sapling next turn. Obliterate on... And Obliterate is really good if it goes off, but it's just so bad if it doesn't. Can we live one more turn? More treasures. We stabilize if he attacks again.
These isles will be cleansed.
Go for this, see if we can get the... Get the minion. The little challenger dude, and we can challenge the Hecarim. It's that same spell. Maybe Glimpse. Oh wow. He's really scared of this Maokai. Not gonna be happy about that one. Yo, he's just ruinated his board and milled his own deck. Well, I've milled his deck, but... He's gonna refill his hand. So we don't have to worry about tossing anymore, we've only got 4 cards left, just like him. Back up to 19. Nice. So I'm gonna pop Noxus down here. He's gonna shuffle a bunch of sea monsters back into our deck. Actually, have we even played any +4? Yeah, we played 3. So now we have the card advantage once again. He's gonna have to will this, and then he can't do much on this turn. Oh wait, he just played Shadow Assassin? Wait, he played Glimpse and Shadow Assassin after Maokai milled him, dude. This guy. Yeah. GG. Milling cell. Dude, I swear, people's brains just melt when it comes to mill, like. Oh, D1 boys, hype. They can't handle it. Speedwagon. We're gonna keep all of our healing cards here. Drag dredges? No. At least we have the attack token on turn 1. Got a whale. Saboteur, so we have to choose, do we think the pet or the Saboteur is going to get in more damage over the course of this game. Next turn we have a 3-drop that could block the pet. We also have Whale as well. Could let them both get in, bank the mana, then Whale next turn, wipe them out, but it leaves us too open to Transfusion. We want to keep his board as small as possible. I think I like draining the Precious Pet here, and then we can just block the Saboteur with the Spider. This makes his Transfusion really crappy. So if we can keep his minions off the board. Turn 3, just gonna pass, guys, see what he does. He wants to play something here, yeah. Gonna play the Dead Bloom because it matches up well against the 3 health of his Disciple. He's not gonna want to take this trade. Nice. This is really important, guys. We got another 1 health. We got his health down by 3. We can't just try and play 2 controller. We do need to like pressure him down because he's just gonna he'll just harrowing after harrowing and eventually kill us. Now this is a really tricky spot because of the Transfusion threat. I could grasp Draven, but more than likely he will just Transfusion and laugh. So I'm probably gonna have to put the Toad down. Man, I'm guessing if he had Crimson Disciple, he's kept Transfusion in hand in the mulligan if he had it. So now I'm gonna block the Toad here. He's probably gonna use an axe to kill it off. He might not. He has to use a card. Yeah. We get to smack him back for 1. Our turn to attack now, guys. Not too much going on.
This is gonna hurt for you.
So he uses Draven's Whirling Death there. Does get to kill us. Man, Grasp is so good here. It's so good and so bad at the same time. If it goes off, it's insane. You pretty much win the game if it goes off. I think it's worth it. It's a hard matchup. Oh, you love to see it, guys. Very nice little payoff there. So we didn't get any heal from it, but we get to preserve our lifesteal minion, get rid of the Draven, and fizzle his Whirling Death as well. Obviously this hurts. There's the fishy. Pretty simple here. Nice. I wonder if that little hesitation was maybe him thinking about Noxian Fervoring to deny the heal. Wouldn't be surprised, guys. Now the fish can be really clutch in this matchup to stop Darius, because we can obliterate him so he doesn't get like he doesn't return from the harrowing. Just gonna do this burst spell pass again. I don't want to commit to this fish right now. It's because he's got 6 mana.
Remember the objectives.
Pretty sucky.
Make the Empire
Another 4 damage down. Man, these cards. So he's gone decently wide now. I'm gonna try and get rid of. I'm just gonna obliterate this. This is gonna stop it coming back from the harrowing, and even if he. Okay, he's got Noxian Fervor for it. So Nautilus can be super good against Darius, guys. Darius is going to level up if he comes down right now. So I'm considering just wailing here to keep us out of level up Darius range. I don't think it's good enough though. Do have Nautilus to answer him. Okay, he doesn't have the Darius. We'll pop Mr. Nautilus down. Saboteur. This card probably harrowing right here. Six away. So we can go deep at burst speed now, guys, even if he pops down the Darius here. He wants to end round? Yeah. He's had enough. Man, his hand must have been trash. After that grasp on Draven, it was pretty done for him. pretty done. We got a 92% win rate, guys. Pretty happy. It's been a good morning. Gold 5. This guy's 600 masters. I think so much of this deck at the moment. Yeah, I don't even think we're favored, but we haven't lost to it. Don't want Maokai. Riptide's good for Basilisk.
I'll try anyone more.
Not what we want to see.
Delish.
So we have, ooh, we have Jaw Hunters actually. Let's just pass there. Nice.
Precious worth least twice as much.
Let me show you what I can do.
Second Crimson Disciple.
Look what you.
Very sucky. Denisov 23. What's up, man? Thanks for the follow. Really do appreciate it, man. Every single follow helps the channel grow. Glad you're enjoying it. Alright. So we could pop down a lifestealy dude. And we're still taking 4. What does lifestealy dude stop? We're gonna take 8 if we take down pop down lifesteal. We're gonna heal back up some. I don't mind this because if we can get this on 1 health, we have to do this here. We kind of have to do this here even though it sucks. We kind of ordered this wrong. I would have put the Crimson Disciple at the front. For sure. Don't have enough to wail. Maokai is not good. Stun's not good. We just have to. Down comes Draven. We can't actually attack here, guys, because of the precious pet. We'll just take out our dude. Okay. So it's definitely looking like a whale turn next turn. Going down to 11. Just wondering if we need to stun the Draven. Man, so much damage. And harrowing. Come down next turn. It's so scary. Another Grenadier. Your Hunters, double Challenger, very nice. Could put in a lot of work. Gonna try and, oh man, do we want to obliterate Draven or? I'm gonna obliterate the 3-1 because it has the Death Rattle, and we can actually cancel that out, and then we can challenge Draven. Okay. So he's buffed Draven up. Pretty scary if he has Darius now. Okay, so he's got Harrowing. He's blocking that. This card right here. We didn't have a good way to play around it. Okay, maybe. I see. Draven's Whirling Death.
Come out and play.
Dude, what is this animation? Okay, so at least it's not Harrowing. We can stun him next turn. Not the end of the world.
Let's do this.
We can even sack Maokai.
Be gone, thief.
Do I want to? Not really. Oh, I would have loved to grab that grasp right there. So we're just gonna stun him. Pop down dredges. Oh, this is getting really scary. Last steel unit. We have a challenger.
Give them high out of the forest.
Remember the objectives.
Oh man.
For the glory of Noxus.
Gonna go all in here.
Danger paid. That's so small, but she ain't lacking courage. Fell into him. Go and harvest him. My feeds on death.
Play around transfusion. Does not have it. Oh, Basilisk Rider. Oh man, if he top decks Harrowing here.
To spread their leaves. Rise for Noxus!
Okay, he didn't get it. This is gonna put us down. If he has, okay, he's just gonna spinning axe this thing to the high heavens. Can't stop it because of the overwhelm. We're at 7. We get a challenger next turn. This is going to do more damage, right? 2, 1. This one card in his hand. Nonetheless, we don't need him. Oh, another close Noxus game.
For once.
Okay, D140 LP. Very nice. I'm just going to grab a glass of water and have a quick toilet break, and we'll jump back in, see if we can hit Masters in the next couple of games. I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. Voice of Shurima. What's up, dude? Braum, Anivia. We'll try and mill this guy. I'll keep double jettison here. Double jettison, double dredges. What's that? 6 plus 8 cards tossed. 14 cards down the drain already. They're really looking for Maokai in this matchup, guys. The Braum and the Anivia don't have a lot of reach, so if we can get Maokai out, try and mill him down and then survive a couple of turns, we'll be feeling pretty good.
Escapes my watch.
Doesn't have a lot of card draw. Just gonna use one jettison here so we don't waste any mana. We don't have any other actions we want to do on this turn. We don't want to attack into him because he's gonna draw the card off of this. And we also have a Wild Feast if he glimpses. The Braum could come down. There he is. Now I'm pretty sure they don't run the Elixir of Irons. Right. The only thing that would...
For the homestead. This is fun, yes?
Oh, this is fine, he's gonna get the Poro. 7 away from deep already.
It is easy, see?
And we got another Dredges. See if he wants to just Valve face this. Expect him to have it here. Oh, he just wants the whale. It's his turn, pretty much done.
Give me the stuff! Stuff makes happy!
We don't really have anything more to do, so we're just going to... And are we gonna go deep? Yeah, we're just gonna go deep. So turn 5 deep. Very nice. Maokai's at 20. So turn 6, this is where his Anivia could come down. It's not going to. Could try and obliterate the Braum here. Take Heart puts it out of range. Fury of the North does as well. Man, do we want to save the fish for Anivia though? So what if we don't draw Maokai? Thing is, we're gonna drop Nautilus next turn, so this could possibly bait out like a Vengeance or something. See how we go. So he's got Take Heart. No, he didn't need to use both. Oh, maybe he's playing around the fact that I have Valve-faced mana. He could have waited though. It seems a little weird to me. Oh, he really wants to draw cards here. Got another. And do I want the fish to go in? Guess we can Valve face the Braum. No, it's gonna level him up. Second Nautilus. Oh man, he's really drawing cards. We're gonna put these treasures in our deck. And we can level up Maokai.
Let's go out for the moment, my shield.
So don't really want to give him another card. Taking 2 is fine. Just gonna go through. I'll try to Valve face the Braum. If he has a response, I will just Riptide him. Vengeance on Nautilus is fine. I can summon another one next turn, so Braum dies here. And how many cards are we on? 15. Plus 2. Nice, we got the plate worm egg. Awesome. We got Ruination. Uh-huh. It's fine. Nice, we found the Maokai, guys.
We each died, then found hope.
Do I... No, we just need to survive. I think egg here is fine. Five mana for 3 8/8s. So it's threatening lethal here anyway with the challenger next turn.
The Isles will bloom again.
Yeah.